Our guest in this second segment is Tim Adams, the director of Pivot Point. Welcome to Community Focus.
Thanks, glad to be here.
Tim, what is Pivot Point?
Pivot Point is an employment support program designed to help those with high barriers to employment overcome some of those obstacles and become productive members of our community again.
And Pivot Point has been around for quite a while?
No, Pivot Point's relatively new. It was started at 1016 Recovery Network, but now it's been expanded to help people with any employment barrier beyond substance abuse, but that's still a large part of our clientele.
Well, how does the program work? What are
the program basically takes people with high barriers to employment, be it substance abuse or legal issues or unfinished educations or other issues, and we bring them in and we teach them how to be employees. The program is part classroom and part on-the-job training, if you will, in our used appliance shop.
And the classroom training, is that done also on site, or do you have?
While there's a lot of training done on site, it's more hands-on and ad hoc. There is a classroom component to the program provided by our partners, 1016 Recovery Network, for those people with substance abuse issues, and where they include a lot of long-term recovery combined in with the education. And by Forward, an organization that runs a program called Jobs for Life, which is really centered on helping people get jobs. It's interviewing skills and resume skills. It's a very, very good program. The two are actually very complementary. So members of our Pivot Point program will either attend Jobs for Life or 1016 Recovery Network's Employment Support Classroom program, or both.
And then job training, how does that happen? Where does that happen?
Well, we have Pivot Point Appliance Works, which is a used appliance shop. It's a donation-based business where we take donated appliances, washers, dryers, refrigerators, working or not, and we pick them up. We bring them to our shop, and that's where the training begins. We do a value analysis to see if it's something that we can turn profit on, or I should say profit. We're a nonprofit, but of course we need to have revenue to support our program. But we do value judgments, like a triage, if you will, to find out if this appliance is salvageable. If so, it's cleaned up and resold. If it needs repair, it's again a more value analysis. We order parts and repair the unit, and potentially sometimes about 12% of the time they go right to scrap. But we recycle them responsibly, and they go to a scrap yard.
And the appliances that are either cleaned, repaired, that are ready for sale, how are they sold?
Well, everyone that comes in is cleaned and tested to make sure it does what a washer needs to wash clothes and spin, and we make sure they work well and give them a 30-day warranty, and we sell them on Craigslist basically, or Facebook. So we have no problem selling what we bring in because there's such a high demand, especially in the lower income part of our community where new appliances are so expensive. There's a big market for good working used appliances.
Your basis, though, for the appliances are donated appliances, so you
they're all
call
donated.
to action for people to donate used appliances if they are no longer needed.
Actually, that's our biggest call to action. If we need to get to people when they decide to buy new appliances. We need them to know about Pivot Point so that they can donate their appliances to us, and we'll put them to good use. And really, it's not the appliances we're reconditioning; it's the people.
Sure. Well, talk us through a typical program for a typical participant in Pivot Point.
Well, Pivot Point starts out generally in the classroom. They're referred to us by other agencies where it's learned that they have employment barriers, and there's nothing worse than filling out 60 applications and not getting a phone call. We take people like that in. We give them classroom training at either one of our partners currently, expecting more, and we bring them into our shop, and we start their tuition, if you will, is 5 hours a week that they donate to our cause in training time, and we spend a lot of time in training, and then we pay them after that. So it's at least some level of income, and with 9 out of 10 of our participants being homeless, living at one shelter or another, some income is very good. Keeps them in bus tickets, and then we work with them to prove themselves as an employee. While we're teaching employment skills and employability skills, we're really filtering the good from the bad. So that when we go to an employer and say, take a chance on this one, we know that this employee is going to work out well for the employer. And really, so many employers are willing to help out people with employment barriers, but they don't know which ones. And really what we do is eliminate a lot of that risk for the employer.
So your graduates are well accepted by local employers?
Absolutely. Our first graduate was an is an alcoholic, but is in recovery now. And she was living in her car, and 7 months later, she's Employee of the Month in her new job with benefits and a 401k. She's doing tremendous, and she graduated 7 months ago, and she's still doing very well. She's now recently just got a new job at Dow. Another employee came through our program very well. I recommended him to a local contractor who hired him on a Wednesday. On Friday, he gave them $1.50 raise, and on the following Wednesday, that employer stopped into our shop to thank me for allowing me to hire this guy. And he's just doing tremendous, and now he's full-time employed at a local manufacturer, doing very well.
Well, where can our viewers find out more information about Pivot Point or obtain an application to be part of the program?
Well, either of our partners, 1016 Recovery Network or Forward, which runs the Jobs for Life program, they both will have applications, or they can stop by our shop, which is at 308 East Lyon Street. In the Midland Tire Building. That's the one way that leads out of town. We're kind of lost in the Midland Tire Complex. We're off to the west side of that building. They can stop by any of those places or go to our website, which is pivotpointappliance.com, or call us at our phone number is 989-244-8888, and we can arrange for an application and an interview.
Well, thank you, Tim, for that update on Pivot Point.
Thanks for having me.
In our next segment, we will learn about New Hope Village.